One of my most requested videos is a sugar content tier list, and here we are. Because I already made a video about the most steamy games, I thought I would this time rank the games according like how much sugar content they have. What I define as sugar content are sweet scenes. They don't need to be like steamy or like sensual or passionate, but I define sugar content as holding hands, talking about each other's past, family, getting to know each other, so everything that enhances a romantic progression in my view. This is totally subjective, so what I consider romantic or sweet sugar content might be different from yours. But yeah, this is my tier list. Those are all the bit more than 50 games I've played. My categories are: what even is a plot? Because there's so much romance, no one cares, and certainly not me. The squealing, it's pretty cute. You scream a lot, kick your feet a lot, but there still are some other things happening apart from having fun with the characters. Still Thirsty is in the mid-range. It's good, but it isn't completely satisfying. I'm still thirsty. Mere Survivor I was getting by with kind of not a lot of sugar content, with quite few sugar content, but it was okay. And then Starvation is like absolutely not acceptable that this is even sold as an Otome game. That's a scam, that's not an Otome game. So those games are the games I was really misplaced by the amount of sugar content they offered. And yet they're awesome, and you'll be shocked and offended by which games made me starve. I apologize in advance. Don't be offended, it's my personal opinion. Please argue in the comment sections why those games are actually good. Let's start with 9 Rib. 9 Rib is one of my all-time favorite games. It has a plot though. So I think it got me squealing. I think the romance content is high. It's not steamy, but it's very, very cute in most reads. And even if there's plot happening, it is always connected to the character you're dating, or it even is connected to your relationship, and that is what I call a good plot. Then I'm kind of interested in the plot if it has like a direct consequence for the future of my lips. Will it influence how soon I'll be kissed again? Then it's relevant, and it's very relevant in 9 Rib, so I might even move it here because it's very character oriented, very character driven. But as there's still things happening and you dive in the past of the characters, I think it's more on the squealing side, but there's plot. Amnesia. I just took the first game here, though I played all of them. I feel like it was very cute and not so plot driven. I wasn't personally super happy with the romance overall. It could have been more for me. It was okay, so I don't like it as much as 9 Rib, but I think for the sugar content ratio, it did good. It did good. It could have been more, could have just been more happening, more juicy. But I survived. Arcana Famiglia, I have only played 1 route. It's extremely hilarious. Highly recommend trying out this game. You're the daughter of a mafia family, and your father will marry you to the guy who wins kind of contest, like a strength fighting contest. But as you're a really cool girl, you participate in the contest yourself to have the freedom to choose your own husband. Very, very cute and hilarious characters, very cute heroine. The sugar content though was not good. I feel like there were 1 or 2 scenes where they actually coasted up a bit, but there also were a lot of scenes where they supported each other mutually, had really good talk about their fears and their thoughts, but it could have been more for me. It's a very episodic game. I guess it could be a good mobile game because you have very little episodes of one talk at one day and then the next day and the next talk. It's more having fun with your friends, but not so much with your boyfriend, if that makes sense. Okay, Birushana, the first part. I would say it was mere survival. It's difficult. I enjoyed the romance in some of the routes a lot. I think they did great with most of the romance stories. I'm one of the rare cases who didn't like Tomomori, which was a major disappointment for me. I think he tried to be young, but he really couldn't, because no one can be young. But as you know, I really loved Benkei. Shungen wasn't for me. Yoritomo was very cute, but I think overall it was so much fighting. And I ended up skipping the fights because after 1 or 2 routes you know what's happening. So that was kind of draggy and boring. But I only played and bought the first game so I can play the FD. Because as you might know from my review, this is a horny game. This is such a horny game. There's no plot. Especially in the after stories of the main characters. You know, the main six characters. There is a pseudo plot, but the pseudo plot is like they are too horny for their own good. Sorry, that doesn't count as a plot. It's one of the best examples for what even is a plot. The side characters you can date, they do have a plot. They are really well written. Learn Japanese if you like Birushana, the first game, because I don't think they will localize the FD, but it's worth it. If you love Birushana, definitely play the FD. It made all the suffering in the first game so worth it. Oh, those steamy scenes, they are so perfect because they're filled with love and passion, yearning. Yes. Can recommend, no plot. Okay. Concentrate, next game. Brothers Conflict. It was very cute. And then when you get to the staying over events, they can be kind of lightly steamy, like in a very PG-13 kind of way. But you have to admit that half of the game is gameplay. So the ratio is really 50-50. You either have gameplay or you have cute interaction. There's no plot, that is true. But the ratio of like how you spend your time in the game is still pretty half-half. Café Enchanté. I played it because I love the artist and I love the voice actor of Canis. But the 3 routes I enjoyed a lot. So the common route was really difficult for me to push through because there was so much plot that led nowhere. And then I remember that scene where they said, okay, we're going to go to this place to meet that person. In the 20 minutes they talk about what they want to do and where they want to go there and what they want to talk about with that person. Then after 20 minutes you finally go there, want to meet that person, and then the person isn't there. And like, I feel like those very anticlimactic plot threads were a lot in the common route. I feel like I liked the character so much that it was kind of mid. Like, still very thirsty, but especially I was very disappointed by the romance in Canis route because I didn't like how he reacted to her feelings. I liked the beast though, it was almost steamy. Difficult! Okay, we're gonna make it like this. Sunday on palikA. One day I will make a list with games I regret buying. This will take place number 1. If I hadn't played it, I would play it, you know? It's so beautiful. You think it can't be bad. This game is kind of in a twisted fairy tale setting where you live in a city where everyone who leaves the city, who was born in the city, turns into glass. That's why it's the Glass Cinderella. There is of course a way to solve that curse, to lift that curse. It's so badly written because it's so random how in each route you solve the curse differently. It makes no sense whatsoever. And yeah, the romance progression was okay. The plot was extremely stupid and nonsensical. The romance progression was fine, but overall this game, it's so void of depth and it was really hard to get through it. I almost dropped it, especially as it was one of my first games I played. It was so slow. One route took me 12 hours and those were not fun 12 hours. It was horrible. Oh man, I wish I could get back this time. Well, yeah, that's kind of my fault for being a slow reader. It's a bad game, but romance-wise, guess you can survive. Charade Maniacs. No. So my expectations from this game, like I said in the review, was so different. I thought I would get something dramatic, and instead I got something slice of lifey, and I feel like there was almost no romance. It was all about a plot that is not going to happen because nothing happens in the game, because they're just wondering what the truth is and at the end someone tells them. I didn't like the game and the love progression was pretty useless. I'm sorry, no. Chouchou Jiken. It's a weird fantasy game where people suddenly start turning into zombies and they especially like attacking the MC. And the MC is pretty stupid and useless and inactive. I didn't like it. How did I like the sugar content? I feel like one route was really great. Of the character you see on the left here, there was a really great route. It's a cross-dressing character. Like his appearance is kind of female, but his character is very male, I think. So I enjoyed that a lot, but the other routes, oh no, I think they were all so trash. I rarely agree with the reviews of Brad Mr. Lee. where she said that all those characters are trash, and I was like, now I'm interested. But she's so right, they're all so horrible people, and the MC doesn't notice. So overall, I think sugar content was good in that one route, but the rest was, like, it was kind of there, but it was so weird. Like, she's the type of character, she gets abducted a lot, and then she thanks her abductors for giving her food. Like, what? And I guess that's romantic. I don't know, no. Chou no Doku, it is steamy. It does have a plot, but it's very steamy, so I think I would put it in the squealing section, though it's not so much squealing, but more steaming. I like this game, it was too short, it should have been longer. That's the only negative thing I can say about it. But I recently replayed it and I was like, that's delicious, thank you. Clock Zero, a very plot-heavy game about time travel, so I think you travel in the future when the world is destroyed. And there you meet all your classmates again, though they could kind of totally different people, and that is the big question of the game, which is really interesting. If we had two timelines and you develop different as a character on the different timelines, would you still be the same person? Or would those make different experiences you have? Would that make you a different person? And that's a really intriguing question. So I think the romance is well balanced with the plot, but I personally only enjoyed 2 routes. But the others also had their romance. Don't have to think about that. Yes, the plate code Realize, due to kind of popular demand. Why is this game popular? I don't get that. I think they just fall in love because of the suspension bridge effect. They have some adventure together, get some adrenaline kicks, and then think they're in love together. I don't buy any of the love stories happening there. And it's so sad and like, snap, fall off the sky together, you're in love. No, I don't buy that, I don't like that, and I don't care for random sci-fi plots. This game was not for me. I'm sorry, Code Realize fans. Please don't hate me. Cupid Parasite is one of the steamiest games I know, but it does have a plot. But oh my god, all those scenes, how I love replaying this game. They were so sweet and steamy. The characters are so well written and the MC is adorable. But that's not the topic of this video, so I think it has a very high romance development focus. Amazing. But the FD, if you watched my recent review of it, you know. Some routes have a plot, others don't. We don't need it, I argue. It's yes. It's very steamy. If you are ever starved of steaminess, this game has you covered, I promise. Oh, very good. Dance with Devils. It is also on the steamy list, but if there's a not steamy scene, it will be still a romantic scene. And again, what I like about the plot, it still I think objectively it has like a 50-50 plot sweetness ratio. But even if plot is happening, it will still be connected to the characters and their relationship. And as I said, that is what I call a good plot, and that what makes it like more romance heavy in my impression. And every scene got me squealing a lot. Ephemeral Fantasy on Dark doesn't have a plot. All the scenes in this game are pretty romance focused. It's not steamy at all, but it's very, very sweet. Even if Tempest didn't leave me starved, but it was mere survival because it was short and because it was very plot heavy. There were some romance scenes, so I wasn't totally disappointed, but yeah, actually it wasn't that much for me. Hamefura. I guess it could be around the squealing. There also is a lot of plot, but also when there's plot, then it also is relevant for the character. So I guess it is actually on the squealing tier. I personally I think it was okay. It was kind of a bit shallow and like easygoing. The romance ratio was good. Oh, same for Hanayaka, Nari, Waga, Ichizoku, where you work as a maid for 6 or 5 very hot brothers who might or might not bully you. It's not for the faint heart, especially in the beginning, but of course they all turn out to be very nice guys in the end. I like this game a lot, though it has gameplay, because it's very snappy, like it's very fast paced. There is a bit of plot, but it's mostly centered around their interactions. Jakouo no Lyla. It has a plot, but the plot is connected to the relationship. It could be there because everyone knows the plot is just there to make the steamy scenes happen. No one really cares about the plot. Yeah, I think we will have to be true and honest here and say it has a plot, but it's really nicely interwoven to kind of urge them to get intimate really quickly. Kenka, Kimi, awful. You just travel around all the time, fight some demons, and then not kiss. And the FD of this game is even more disappointing because you would think, oh, it's FD, it has Steam. But no, they first require you to play through a common route again where they're just friends. And then you get like 2 chapters of sweet interactions. And they are sweet, yes, but they're not mind-blowing. Kenka, Banchou, Otome. The plot is connected to their relationship and their romance. You have a lot of sweet interactions, like be it talks or being blushing about them wondering whether she's a girl because she dresses up as a boy in this Yankee high school, acting as if she was her own brother who's part of the mafia family. Very funny game. Still want to play the FD and then I'll make a review about it. Oh no, Kimi, Yuki. No, because the setup, as you might know from my raving reviews, that these characters don't have emotions, so they can't tell a love story. Klap. I don't count that as plot. No, it's a pretentious plot. It's not a real plot. You just spank them so they won't go wild, and then get to know them and cozy up with them. Perfect. Same for the FD. I can't remember any plot, just, sweet times. Just perfect. Koizaru wa Kaihana. It should be Steamy, because it's originally an R18 game, which I played, and I regret that, oh god. Was not for me, and it was not for my little baby heart. So I think the porn version of this game, they would be here. They would be totally what even is a plot, because it's just here for the explicit scenes, which are so rough, oh my god. But the censored Switch version, which I'd like to rank here, I didn't feel any romance. I think this game is only about the explicit scenes. That's what makes it shine, if you want to put it like that. That's why it exists, and without them, it just doesn't make any sense. And the romance progression is, I don't know, it just didn't feel anything. That's why I say I starved. Kyokai no Shirayuki is such a weird, kind of kinky setup where you suddenly start to access the mirror world where you can see kind of the bad personas of the characters you date. And in the real world, you solve their real life trauma, and in the mirror world, they bite you in order to heal. Yes, they bite you. Crazy setup. Kind of funny, it's sometimes repetitive, but I think it was very romance focused, I have to admit that. Didn't leave a strong impression, but it did leave an impression because of the biting scenes, and the voice acting is really good. I think I can recommend this game, but you can also watch my review. Lover Pretend. I feel Lover Pretend is very good mid-game, so it has a mixture of the light plot and the romantic scenes. Tsurika no Ke, recently released Japanese game, where you marry the LIs at the beginning of their routes most of the time. I think I would put it to the mere survival because it is very plot heavy, but throughout the plot heavy moments they give you, I would say, pseudo romantic scenes, because I didn't feel the love, and I think the game often starts a love development with a physical contact, and that is followed by the emotional connection. And I would prefer the other way around, from emotional to physical, but they do it from physical to emotional. Yeah, I survived it barely. Nightshade. Only played 2 routes, and I think it was very plot heavy actually. Nil Admirari no Tenbin, where we join the book police to prevent books from harming people. It has a plot. It has a plot. It's a great plot. In the FD, it's the same, actually, or sequel. It's not all about spending time in bed. They do that as well, but they also unravel more mysteries and solve more cases. Absolutely perfect games. What can I say? Non the base game. Feel until the very last chapter, this game doesn't have a plot, because it's all about getting to know them getting to know the mission, but you don't really get to know the mission because you're just having fun times on the ship. But in the end there is a plot, or there are the revelations about the plot. Same for the FD actually. There's a plot. It's so sad. But overall so cute, so many romantic scenes. Olympia Soiree has a plot. Pure Fiore has a plot. Sadly, but it's still a perfect game. Yeah, the sequel also is fun. Princess Arthur. There are some romantic scenes, but it's a very plot heavy. So she suddenly became the king, Princess Arthur, and is protected by the Knights of the Round Table. Kinda cute, but they tried making it romantic, but I don't think they succeeded because it's a lot about the war, what's going on around her, and not so much about how she works out being a princess king. Radiant Tale. I think it's a really half-half. Every character has their plot, but there are also a lot of sweet romance scenes. And same for the FD. I was honestly disappointed by the Radiant Tale FD because I hoped it would be at least like here or even better in the what even is a plot section, because I felt like the base game was fairly plot-driven and I just would have wanted for them to enjoy their time in bed. But they decided to add some little plot points which were admittedly interesting at times. But yeah, overall the game left me thirsty. Both games left me very thirsty for more Eon content. It's so sad. Rhea Phyllis is kind of a strange Red Riding Hood adaptation, but the heroine suddenly is hunted by a wolf from the Red Riding Hood fairy tale and is protected by the real Red Riding Hood. She's going to school. There are a lot of like sweet school interactions with the LIs, but also there's a very infamous hunting minigame, which doesn't take up a lot of the playtime, but it still does take up some of the playtime. Without the minigame, I think it could be here because there isn't so much happening, you just have fun with the characters. But overall the interactions I think are really cute. School love story, like going to the school festival together or doing homework together, just like really cute innocent love story, and then being confused by those new feelings. Oh, it's super adorable. And the Fleur, I've heard it's kind of infamous for its bad endings, and I think a lot of people don't like the plot, but I like it. So you're the queen of the Flower Kingdom and are protected by 4 knights. But then throughout the game you find out that the world isn't at all how you thought it would be. It's actually a pretty cruel and pretty tragic world, and you will have to make decisions about life and death of thousands of people. So I think it's kind of half-half. It's half plot about this really cruel, like it's a beautiful but cruel world. And then my personal favorite character was Ghislaine. Oh, if there are the love scenes, they are very cute and oh, it was so dramatic because, you know, maybe they can't be together, they want to be together, they can't, and there's something stopping them. There's a really beautiful love stories, but there also is part that like a strong plot focus as well. Senjo no Waltz is kind of the spiritual successor, if you wanted, to Princess Arthur. Yeah, and I think it kind of belongs there. There are some sweet scenes, but mostly it was about them being in the military academy and then fighting. Shinobi Koi, on the other hand, is a very clear candidate for what even is plot. I think I raved about this in my review. The setup is that when you blush, you emit meadow powers, and then this pink fog makes the men around you act as if they are deeply and very thirsty in love with you. That's the game. What can I say? Sweet, kind of fake, thirsty interactions. It's a lonely maiden's dream. Suuran Digit. This is a really weird game where you are at a school, but there's a really strict hierarchy based on your numbers of your family and your strength. The heroine was so weird because she didn't care about anything. And so I feel like there wasn't really much romance happening in the game because the heroine didn't care about anything, neither the plot nor the romance. It was such a weird experience for me. Whew, Sweet Clown. I only played one route, the one with my favorite character. So in Sweet Clown you suddenly get an invitation to join a mysterious midnight dinner party in a castle somewhere in the woods, and of course you think, yeah, that sounds safe. And you are greeted by a skeleton and 4 other participants. And that's kind of all that happens because the game is so talkative. They have so much dialogue that leads to nowhere, and then it's so repetitive. The romance-wise, no. So all the characters, as far as I can tell, are deeply troubled, but not in a funny way. They really have psychological issues and they should seek help. So it's kind of difficult to have a stable relationship with them, right? A romantic one. Yeah. So yeah, I starved and I dropped it after the first route because I just couldn't take it. It's so repetitive. No. Sympathy Kiss. I feel like it doesn't really have a plot, but I don't know what's really happening in this game. It's certainly not about rescuing an app. It's certainly not about office work. So I don't think it has a plot. Has it romance development? But yeah, I guess you could say the game is made of character interactions. Tengai ni Mao, one of my favorite games, has a plot, and this plot is annoying. Why isn't there? But still, it is mostly extremely sweet character interactions. Oh, and all those boys, all those brothers, are so smoking hot. Oh my god. Tengoku Struggle has a plot. It's connected to the characters, but it has a plot, and it's a good plot. And it's one of those cases where it's, again, like, the plot immediately has an impact on the relationship and the other way around. The relationship impacts the plot, and it's like so well interwoven and well written. I hope you're all enjoying the game now that it's out in English. Cheerblade, as well as its FD, as you know from my review, is a scam. It shouldn't be called an Otome game. I don't know why people like this. Some people tend to like plot, I don't. Go away. It's so weird. How do they even fall in love? I can't remember. Liquidity Eyes doesn't have a plot. A very weird and similar setup to Shinobi Koi actually. Because also here you have magical powers. You can level up the stats, very gamey word to say it, so you can improve the abilities of another person. But if that is a man you improve the ability of, then he will act as if he loves you for a few minutes. What is interesting though is that you have 3 heroines and you have what they call a threesome ending, what is indeed a friendship ending. Yeah, the game is really shallow and has some forced drama, which Shinobi Koi doesn't have. It's just cute. Birthday song? Yeah, maybe here is actually good. It has a plot about her, so she's visited by the 2 shinigamis, so like Grim Reapers. She has only limited days to live, and they want to make sure she has no regrets, so she can indeed pass on to heaven or nirvana after she died. So they help her with her last regret, if she died, that she's in love with that guy at school. The goal is to help her confess and maybe he likes her back. It's a really sweet love story, and I feel that the love story with the characters, with the Shinigami, also develops really natural, and there's almost no other plot than that. It's a very short but sweet game. But for me, it didn't really leave a strong impression, honestly. But it was sweet. It was really sweet. Variable Barricade. Does it have a plot? Yeah, I think it's only made of character interactions and some silly stuff happening. Oh, Vish. No, I don't know. Okay, sorry. I know Vish is, I think, one of the most popular games, right? Girls, tell me why. I was only in love with Xian. It's only in my head because he's incapable of feeling love. And with the other characters, I didn't feel anything. It was so plot heavy, oh my god. By Pugis no Uta, if I make a review, I will call it If Twilight Was an Otome Game. Because it's exactly that. So there's a vampire, and there are 2 wolves, and you can decide who you want to date, and you can also date your brother. That's pretty neat. Short, fun, silly. It has a plot though. I think it's actually half plot. It's okay, it's a silly vampire against wolf plot. Want of Fortune, and what I've played of Want of Fortune 2 so far. Like, the beginning is very much no plot, just cute school life. But it has very repetitive gameplay that takes a while. Watch my review, I was very annoyed and frustrated. And at the end, there's actually some quite significant plot happening. It wasn't bad at all. Yunohana Spring doesn't have a plot, but you have to tend to your customers in the inn where you're working, in the traditional Japanese inn where you're working. And those are a bit annoying. But the other romantic interactions, which definitely make up more than 50% of the game. That's so cute! They're also like so cute first love, but so realistic. Like how nervous you are before the first date, that you don't really know what to talk about, that you don't really know how to behave. It's really so cute. Such a lovely, relatable first love story. I've only played the common route of Otome no Meguri, so I will still have to see what will happen. In Otome no Meguri, which is also known on the Switch for a very cheap price, in Japanese of course, you watch over the Oni that came back from hell until they turn into yandere. That's all I know. Finally, the latest release I played, Takata no Yukuronia, one of the most successful visual novel Otome game launches, and very similar to 9-Rib and Tengoku Struggle. So probably localization. I think this is a very plot-heavy game. They have a lot of world building, but then in the actual character roots, it's more like a crime story. You try out who did it. And then of course in the true route, there's a lot of info dumping about the truth, about the world and so on. They don't really care about that. I don't care about the world as long as I'm kissed anyway. And I'm kissed anyway at the very end after the credits. There's one last game actually. I have played one route, often that is Kimi. It originally was a mobile game that was then ported to the PSP. You so feel that it's a mobile game because it's only made of short episodes in your very romantic school life, because suddenly in your second year at high school, 7 of the most popular guys at school confess to you and you can choose who you want to date. Isn't that amazing? I love that. Love that setting. And the character interactions are again like so cute, love stories. Yeah, perfect. So definitely no plot at all. No plot at all, but just very sweet, simple character interactions. Okay, I think that's the list. So what do you think of this list? I'll leave a link for this tier maker and share your sugar content tier list in the Discord or on Twitter. I also made another tier list about my top favorite games. Definitely check that out. If you want to be the first to get access to my videos, consider becoming a patron like these lovely people, supporting me being thirsty over these games. Thank you so much and see you in the next video.